Episode 9 is set to end the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing I will say about this movie that I'm really looking forward to seeing is, of course, the major lightsaber duel between both Rey and Kylo Ren, as well as the new villain in this film. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this movie when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with one of the final scenes within the third act of the film. Specifically, a sequence and description of both Kylo Ren and Rey engaging in a lightsaber duel on the edge through a narrow tunnel. It's described that Kylo Ren is fighting with the Anakin Skywalker lightsaber, and Rey is using Kylo's. It's described that the lightsabers are also hitting against the walls before they make an exit. The next goes over Rey sprinting toward Kylo and taking a strike to his helmet, revealing the top half of his face. Another goes over Kylo using the Force by lifting Rey in the air and grabbing his lightsaber, where it's described that Kylo now is holding both Anakin and his own in his own hands. Lastly, a sequence involves Rey using the Force by and eventually taking Anakin's saber back, where it's described that they eventually tumble down a landslide from a distant explosion. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, we do know that this film is really going to deliver when it comes to lightsaber action, something that really was taken away from The Last Jedi by director Rian Johnson. So looking at episode 9 now, we do know that J.J. Abrams really wants to fulfill the Skywalker saga and really go out with a bang in this movie and offer something that a lot of fans are just going to enjoy. So first things first, I want to go over this tunnel system. Now, we actually heard about this set over at Pinewood not too long ago, that this tunnel system is actually going to be used for one of the lightsaber duels in episode 9. Now, this tunnel system is most likely underneath the surface of the planet and underneath the major headquarters of the First Order itself. Now, the thing here is this: we do know that J.J. Abrams wants to make this lightsaber duel on the level of Anakin versus Obi-Wan's in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And this is the big question for sure, is of course, is he going to be able to really pull that off? Is JJ really going to be able to give us a better lightsaber duel than what we saw in Episode 3? That's a big question for sure. I'm not quite sure if he's going to be able to accomplish that. We'll have to wait and see. So the second thing that I do want to go over is how Kylo Ren's helmet actually gets damaged. Now, in case you guys didn't know this, Kylo Ren is going to have the reforged helmet in this movie, and the Knights of Ren apparently are the people responsible for crafting Kylo Ren's helmet and putting it back together again using that red crystalline adhesive. So this red crystalline adhesive, you guys may have even seen it in a leaked photograph a couple of weeks ago. It looks pretty cool. It almost gives you the effect that there are red veins running down Kylo Ren's helmet, giving it a more sinister look, as if he's more evil than ever before, which is exactly what J.J. Abrams is aiming to do in this movie. So the other thing is that we do know that this film is going to offer something very similar in a sense to the prequels when it comes to the choreography involving the lightsaber duels, and that's exactly what's going to happen between both Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley as Kylo Ren and Rey, is that the choreography is going to be similar to what we saw in the prequels, while also adding something new to the mix, which honestly I think is going to be a very interesting take on a Star Wars movie and an angle of a Star Wars film that we haven't seen to date, where they mix the prequel choreography into something new. So the last thing that I do want to go over is the landslide sequence. We actually heard about this lightly about a month ago or so, that there was going to be a landslide sequence involving both Kylo Ren and Rey, portrayed by Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver, from a distant explosion. Now, it sounds somewhat similar to what we already saw at the very end of The Force Awakens, I get that, but in this scenario, they're tumbling down a landslide, and that's exactly what segues into the sequence in which they are hanging on to the edge of a cliff. So I think that what JJ's really trying to do, he's trying to create something very dramatic, something that really keeps the fans on the edges of their seats, wondering what's going to happen to Rey, what's going to happen to Kylo, you know, where are these characters going, who's going to die, who's going to survive. So I think that's the the big thing that JJ's trying to do. He's trying to create this emotional roller coaster for this lightsaber duel, which is exactly what the duel was like in episode 3, and it's one of the reasons as to why a lot of people love that duel. It's literally an emotional roller coaster. They are going from environment to environment, different pieces of dialogue being exchanged that are so powerful, and just the fact that you know Anakin is turning to the dark side as he goes along. So with that being said, guys, let me know what you think about this ending sequence involving the final battle in episode 9 between both Kylo Ren and Rey in this movie. And that's just a thing to look forward to in this movie. We're going to have epic space battles, we're going to have 2 lightsaber duels that are really going to deliver by JJ, and I think a lot of fans really are going to be happy with this film. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.